Information integrity. Integrity. What is it? The online Cambridge Dictionary defines integrity as the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles that you refuse to change. The United Nations has issued an information integrity framework and has appointed a senior advisor on information integrity named Charlotte Scadden. So how does the UN Senior Advisor on Information Integrity see integrity on climate change and energy? In a recent teleconference, Australian Senator Malcolm Roberts asked Charlotte Scadden, "On what basis do you categorize a statement or an action on climate or a climate system as misinformation or disinformation and lacking information integrity?" Scadden replied, "Well, I think that we have very clear consensus about climate change, so anything that is undermining the scientific consensus as laid out by the IPCC and the legal frameworks we have for taking climate action would be considered to be false information. I can't say if that would be considered mis- or disinformation. That depends." Senator Roberts asks if one makes claims about human activity causing climate change, would you agree that one needs scientific proof? Ms. Scadden responds that we have the scientific consensus around climate and adds, "I can't answer questions about science. It's not something that I've studied." Senator Roberts countered that consensus is a political aspect. Ms. Scadden claims that consensus is not political. It refers to 99 out of 100 scientists agreeing on scientific evidence and interpretation of that. That is my understanding of that, but you'd have to ask the scientists to explain it to you. Someone who hasn't studied science is now in charge of scientific information integrity. Based on consensus, but as Dr. Shaviv explains about the 97% consensus claim,
well, the first thing is the 97% figure. Science is not a democracy. The fact that the majority think one thing doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean they are right. The question is, what is the evidence?
Ms. Scadden doesn't know. Who's going to tell Ms. Scadden that she's spreading misinformation? Since she said, "I can't answer questions about science. It's not something that I've studied." Then how can she know if a consensus claim is based on evidence, groupthink, material, or personal prestige? Science is not about consensus. Science is about inquiry, not compliance. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, which Scadden referred to as an expert source, and the consensus, has a mandate to study human-induced climate change. Human influence on climate is only one tiny speck of a staggering myriad of natural climate change factors. Even the claims of consensus studies are not honest once you dig into the details. Read our report, see for yourself. Al Gore claimed that 0 scientists disagreed with a consensus study on anthropogenic global warming. But a redo of that study showed that only 13 studies explicitly supported the so-called consensus view, while 470 studies only mentioned the words climate change and held no position. In the Doran and Zimmerman 2009 consensus study, out of a pool of over 10,000 potential respondents to a climate questionnaire, only 77 respondents self-identified as publishing on climate. Of those 77, 75 answered yes to 2 opinion questions. But science is not about opinion. It is about empirical evidence. In Anderegg et al. 2010, there was no 97% consensus. 903 scientists were convinced by the evidence on human-caused climate change. 472 scientists were unconvinced. In the most cited consensus surveys, there is nowhere near a 97 or 99% consensus. Information integrity on climate and energy, 2 of the most complex scientific disciplines. And here's who is in charge. Check out our new website, climatechange101.ca. Climate change, more than just you and CO2.